Hi, and welcome to PowerViews. I'm Dan McDade, your host and president of PointClear. My guest today is Chad Burmeister. Chad is Vice President of Corporate Sales at ConnectAndSell. ConnectAndSell enables sales professionals to be 5 to 8 times more productive in their daily selling activity. For 4 years, from 2010 to 2013, Chad was voted top 25 most influential inside sales professional by the American Association of Inside Sales Professionals. He has also been a member of the President's Club for FedEx, WebEx, and On24. Chad has an MBA in Computer Information Sciences from Loyola Marymount in Los Angeles. Chad, welcome to PowerViews.
Hey, thanks for having me. Real excited to be here.
Well, it's great to meet you. Great to have you on the show. Hey, let's start off with a softball. What changes are you seeing in inside sales as we head into 2014?
Sure. Massive changes. I'm going to start by showing you a book to the audience here. I hope you can see this.
We can.
Called the Sales Cracking the Sales Management Code. And what I will tell you is that they do a great job. And this is someone that I know and respect who wrote the foreword, Neil Rackham, who wrote Spin Sucker.
Spin, yeah, right.
We're all familiar with that. In the book, they drill down and talk about how inside sales and the sales profession is getting to be a lot more scientific. The CFO, the VP of manufacturing, they've got it very well built out of how do you build a widget and how does a widget come out the other side of the manufacturing process. Well, traditionally in sales, it's been much more of a, I think I know what's going to happen. Yeah. Is the forecast really going to happen on the other side?
Yeah.
I think with all the tools and technologies nowadays, you're able to really predict revenue a lot more effectively and put much more of a manufacturing process in sales behavior and sales process.
Well, I just made a note. Somebody said to me earlier today, they said that it's okay if you have lean manufacturing, but it's not okay if you have lean information. And most of the time, it seems like the leads that a lot of folks see are kind of lean when it comes to information. It kind of leads me as a segue to my next question, which is, when we first talk about aligning sales and marketing, one of the first things we talk about is the definition of a lead. For your organization, how do you define a lead?
Sure. I would say that we're a little more liberal with our definition of a lead. Our view is that if somebody it fits in the company that we're trying to target, they have the right title, then that's a pretty good lead, right? A lot of companies would consider that a suspect.
Mm-hmm.
The way that we kind of operationalize and turn these suspects into leads is that we build these things called contextual campaigns. They're really based on triggers and alerts. If you think of the inside view type of approach, we will set up triggers and alerts, and what's different about the way we do it is we'll convert a trigger and alert into a lead.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, a vice president of inside sales starts up at a new company. They've moved from one company to another. They're the new VP of inside sales. Guess what? That person is going to show up as a lead in our system, and we will call that person. So I think because of the way that we're able to call a lot more people in a short amount of time, eating our own dog food, so
sure.
We're able to lower the definition of what is a lead, and we're able to call people who fit the criteria of what it is we're looking to call and convert into opportunities.
And what turns them into an opportunity? What are some of the triggers that you're looking for to go from a lead to an opportunity?
Sure. They need to have a pain that we can solve. There is a time frame around solving that pain. They don't necessarily have to have a budget, right? We don't take it quite through to BANT level of qualification. As long as they have a need and they have that we can solve and they have a timeline to solve it, we can find a budget, right? Typically, people don't have a conversations budget for the type of
right.
So we need to create that budget.
So as we go ahead to 2014, what's some of the advice that you're giving to sales and marketing executives, for the year ahead?
Yeah, so be more scientific. I mean, read the book. Read the book, Cracking the Sales Code. There's so many sales tools nowadays that I think it's important to first identify what are your vital few. Another good book called Vital Factors. And they say, focus on the vital few, ignore the trivial many. So before you go try a bunch of new tools and technologies, don't just snap them in just because. make sure you've identified what the top 3, what the top 5 objectives are for your business, right? Maybe it's getting in a new product line, maybe it's launching into a new vertical, whatever it may be. Understand those first, and then I would say figure out what technologies can line up to those vital, those vital factors for your organization. A couple of the big ones that I would encourage people to look at. There's tools like eQuire, there's tools eGrabber, Social 123, SalesLoft. All these tools are being able to take LinkedIn information and import it into your Salesforce.com or your CRM application in a structured and meaningful way, versus LinkedIn is generally an unstructured type of a data process, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big area where a lot of people have been using LinkedIn to validate information and leads. They haven't been using it as a lead source, and we're finding that there's a very high hit rate on folks that we collect out of the LinkedIn system. So that's a big one. And then the other side is how do you leverage your salespeople's networks? And so tools like RFactor is one of the big ones that works with SAP and Microsoft and some of the big ones. Hearsay Social, I think, is another one. But how do you tap into your salespeople's base? I think that's why SAP and Oracle and some of these big ones are really catching on first. Yeah. They've got thousands of tentacles out there. And if you as marketing can push a button and it taps into the database of all your salespeople, there's huge business value that's exponential to generate leads for your organization. So those are a couple of areas I would recommend people take a look at.
You referred to social just a couple of minutes ago, and I guess how do you see social media, social marketing playing into what you're looking at doing in 2014? You just gave a couple of examples of using technology, but just social media in general. How do you use it next year?
Sure. Well, let's talk a little bit about how we're using it from a recruiting perspective. We've just hired 8 people in our Denver office in a period of 3 weeks using email technology, using ConnectAndSell to call into these potential account executives. What I'm adding in Q1, I expect to need to hire up to 10 or 20 more sales professionals. So rather than pay recruiters exorbitant amount of fees, 20% per head count, I want to use the social network and the social graph of the 8 people that I've hired in Denver to get the word out to other folks. And so what you do is create a small video that builds excitement about your business and the culture of your business, maybe a shot of your office, a job spec. And if you can get them to post to their social media outlets, it generates a ton of buzz, and you can hire a lot of people through social. So I think since that's one of our vital factors is building and staffing a team, leveraging social to get, not just leads, but people to join us at ConnectAndSell, that's a big one. Mm-hmm. And then, as I mentioned, with RFactor, we're just in the early stages of rollout. But if I can have planned releases on social media where I'll create, me and my marketing organization will create content, it's important that you post at least once or twice a week, if not once a day. Mm-hmm. And with a system like that, you just push go, and the rest of the work is done for you. Mm-hmm. It could even be retweeting of other people's tweets, such as your show here, right? I could have this retweeted out to my universe to provide business value to my my group of contacts.
Well, I appreciate it if you would do that.
And we'll do that. Yeah, we're up to about 4,500 now on LinkedIn. So.
Yeah, good. The AAISP, obviously you're very familiar with them, as well as other analysts have talked about how that, field sales positions are somewhat flat, but inside sales is growing, approaching 20% per year. What's going on there, do you think?
Yeah, I'm seeing that the traditional inside sales model, where an inside rep or an ISR or lead gen rep, providing leads for the field, is sort of going away. And what I'm seeing is that the inside and lead gen rep of 5 years ago is now getting so productive, and there's a lot more software in there now that's automated some of those processes. So now you can have a rep who's been a field rep for 5, 10, 25 years I just hired someone who he's termed himself the Clint Eastwood of inside sales, and this guy can sell, I tell you. But if he would have used traditional dialing process where he had to dial one after another, he wouldn't like that job. But if we can line up conversations for him every 2 to 4 minutes, and he's on his headset talking on the phone, oh, hi, thanks for picking up, thanks for taking my call, and automate that, now we can put a person with 5 to 25 years experience inside the seat of an office, and they can be more productive and not get burned out because of the technologies that are available today.
It's interesting. I don't know if you ever saw John Cleese, who, among other movies, was in a movie called A Fish Called Wanda, and he, for about 20 years now, has had a training company. And one of the funniest videos is a field sales rep coming in to become an inside sales rep, working right next to a professional inside sales rep. And I think that training video is about 20 years old. I'll have to track it down and send it to you. What have we missed in our conversation today? What's the upmost in your mind? What should our audience know?
Well, like you said a minute ago, inside sales is growing at 20% year over year, field's flat. So I would kind of use the phrase, if you can't beat them, join them. I think back to 2004, 2005, I was a field rep on the planes, trains, and automobiles, and it was nice, racking up the miles and having family trips for our family. But it's not nice when you're away from your kids and you're missing them grow up. So what this inside sales has done for salespeople and families, I think it's a big shift in the way we do business. I also think one thing we've missed is the traditional field rep. Some of them will be able to make the move over to a centralized team and to an inside team. I would say be open to it, right? You want to be open to that learn. There are a handful of field reps who are, the large enterprise ticket software item that aren't used to the transactional flow and don't like it. And the other side of the coin is there's a lot of inside reps who love transactional sales. So you have to find that balance of a team of people who are experienced, that have been there and done that, with a team of folks who are coming right out of college, who get the technology and understand that meeting like we are today is the way of the future. Yeah.
So what's the best way of our audience? I've been a Connect and Sell customer in the past, and I think a lot of your company, so I recommend you. What's the best way for a company to get a hold of you if they want to talk?
Yeah, certainly. You can go to our website, ConnectAndSell.com, just CONNECT, and sell.com. We've got a booth at Dreamforce, so by the time this airs, we'll probably be in the midst of it. Yep. And we'll have a booth next year. So, yeah, we'd certainly love to talk with you. My personal blog, or Twitter handle is velocity_sales. It's velocity_sales. And I put out quite a few tweets, and with some of these new tools, expect some goodies to come out, like PowerViews coming out here shortly. So.
And you have your own blog too, right? If I remember.
I do have a blog. It's highvelocitysales.wordpress.com. Probably not as much content there traditionally, but again, look for more to come on highvelocitysales.wordpress.com.
Okay, well, what I've seen there looks pretty good. Well, thanks again, Chad, for joining me. I really appreciate the time. Good luck at Dreamforce.
You bet. Thanks very much.
Okay, well, thanks. For now, it's Dan McDade signing off from another edition of PowerViews. Thank you for watching.